this year also. This year's honorary caregiver is Ruth Peterson. I would like to introduce her. I'm just going to say a few words about her life after the C word. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Penny. My name's Ruth Peterson, and I just first of all want to thank everybody for having me here tonight. What an honor to be asked to come speak. My husband, Patrick, was diagnosed with brain cancer in September of 2009. We went through a surgery to remove the tumor, and then 6 weeks of radiation and a year of chemo. And we just finished chemo last December. They were very hopeful for, his recovery from the surgery and for him surviving through this cancer. Everything was working in our favor. Some of the doctors that I've worked with have been pretty crazy people to work with. They have said things to me that are just so scary, and it's such a difficult thing to try to comprehend, just that your husband or spouse has cancer, let alone having the doctors speak as frankly as some of them have about the situation. And that's been extremely scary for me. I'm sure it has been for Pat too. My husband is a musician, so every time something happens, like the surgery, things that happen because of the surgery, like seizures that he may have, where he might end up in the hospital, or have some downtime because of it, then I have a lot more work to do, because I have shows I have to cancel. I have people to call to fill those shows that I need to fill, venues to call to let them know what's going on. It just never seems to end. I have band members to inform so that I don't have people showing up to his shows that are canceled. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of responsibility. Since then, things have been going pretty good. In January, we went back. We got a good, clean bill of health. Everything looked great. And then we went back in April for our very first 3-month visit, which was kind of exciting. And they told us that they found another spot on the MRI, and they weren't sure what it was, and we'd have to come back and follow up again in 6 weeks. The longest 6 weeks of our life. When we went back, they did another MRI and discovered that the mass had grown and told us that surgery was the next step. And so we met with the neurosurgeon the following week, which was just last week, and he told us that basically we had a choice. We could either leave the tumor and just take our chances with chemo and radiation, or we could go through another surgery, have it removed. Really the choice was up to us. Made it sound like our options were incredibly bleak either way. Again, one of the scariest moments of our life. It was like reliving the whole thing all over again from the beginning. We decided to do the surgery. My husband, because he's a musician, he's die-hard. It runs in his blood. If you know him, you just know that it exists in there in his blood. He's scheduled to play Summerfest on June 30th. So when we talked about it, we decided that maybe we'd wait until after Summerfest and see what happened, and take our chances, because we really wanted him to have that opportunity to play that this year. Well, when we discussed that with the neurosurgeon and told him what our decision was, he informed me that that was fine, it was our choice, but he'd want to do another MRI because maybe at that time the tumor might be inoperable. Something that I think he failed to mention during our earlier visit kind of changed things a lot. We had to rethink the entire thing all over again, and we decided to go ahead with the surgery, which we actually just did last week Friday. I'm still a little disheveled from the whole experience, trying to catch up on so much stuff. It amazes me sometimes how far behind I get on everything when these kind of things come up. So, he came home the very next day, if you can believe, having a brain tumor removed, and then coming home the very next day, sitting out here. I love you, babe. I love you too. If any of you were here earlier tonight, he actually got up and sang a couple songs, getting ready for Summerfest, working ourselves back into it slowly here, which, by the way, Summerfest is next Thursday. I just wanted to pitch that to you. So, on my end of it, we also have an 8-year-old daughter, and so that makes things a lot more complicated when it comes to how we handle the stress of the situation. You know, everything pretty much sits on my shoulders, and it's nobody's fault. It's just the way that it is. I'm his wife. You know, everything that has to be done with the doctors, with any of the medical stuff, even down to the prescriptions, you know, that all becomes my responsibility. Every time we go to the doctor, you know, they're always talking to me and telling me all of the instructions. They're always asking me about, you know, what the med changes are, how he's been, any symptoms that have come up. If I forget something, if we don't bring the pills with us that visit, it's my fault, by the way. Apparently everything becomes my responsibility now, and that's fine. I just wish they would have told me that from the beginning. So our 8-year-old daughter, you know, she was 6 when this all started. She's got a lot of questions. She's seen a lot of things that no 8-year-old should ever have to see. It's heart-wrenching, actually, when I stop to think about it, which I try not to do. We've had to have a lot of conversations that I would really prefer not to have with her, and you know, her questions are fair and intelligent. So I have to really think about how I answer it, because I don't want to scare her. But we are realistic about the situation, and you know, the one thing that always sticks in my head that we were told from the beginning was hope for the best but plan for the worst. And that rings in my head all the time. So, you know, it's a very gray area when you consider, you know, trying to be hopeful about the situation and at the same time having to be realistic about what could happen, and it just makes it very difficult to plan anything. Makes it difficult to talk to my daughter. She's handling this incredibly well. There was one point where my husband collapsed when he went to pick her up from school and had a seizure. And she felt it was her fault that it happened because she didn't catch the signs. And I just broke my heart to hear her say that. I had no idea that she felt that way. And my gosh, it was not her fault. She didn't know. I can't even catch the signs half the time, and you know, I've been with Pat for 17 years. So we have, you know, she's had to grow up a lot faster than most 8-year-old kids, and it's hard for her because a lot of her friends don't understand what she's going through because they've never experienced it, and she doesn't understand why they can't be more sympathetic to her situation. You know, we've had to have a lot of conversations about that. She's been incredibly brave through this. I'm so proud of her. Had her walking around here with us tonight. Got her a Caregiver t-shirt too, because she's everything. She's my support, she's my love, she's everything to us. Her name is Jasmine. You know, we run a business from home. He's not able to work now, and you know, there were some things that went on with my job after this happened. So we work from home together now, running a business. We run an entertainment business together. It's kind of fitting. Something we had actually planned on doing before this ever happened. It just seemed like it worked itself into our life miraculously. Kind of an interesting turn of events. You know, one of the worst moments of our life, but also one of the most exciting, doing something that we've actually dreamed of doing for many, many years. I feel very fortunate to be able to have this opportunity with him, to be with him every day, to not have to worry what's happening when I'm not there. And it's just such a great opportunity to really get to know him. And I don't know how many people get to have that much time with their spouse, but I'm really grateful for that time, babe. You know, but business stops for nothing. So, you know, even in the hospital room, day of the surgery, Pat's quizzing me on all the things that I need to get done when he's not doing it. And drives me nuts. He's kind of pushy like that. So, you know, there's always things that I have to take care of on that end, no matter how stressed out or worried or scared I am about what's happening with Pat. You know, I have a lot of responsibilities trying to keep things together so our business can keep running. That is, you know, our main source of life right now. So I hope that kind of helps everybody understand a little bit about where caregivers are coming from. I guess I never really understood until I got into the situation myself. You know, you always sympathize, and everybody always says what a strong person you are and how much you can handle is just amazing. How, you know, I used to say to people too, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you get through every day. And honestly, I don't even know how I get through every day. I just take it as one day at a time and as much as I can. And I try to limit to what I think I can handle. Sometimes I don't really have a choice, you know, things just come up that have to be taken care of, but you know, I try to find a little time for myself whenever I can, taking a walk or, you know, just some quiet time downstairs while everyone is sleeping. I'm proud to be in this position with my husband. I know that probably sounds really strange to hear, but you know, honestly, I can't think of somebody that I would want to be with more and to get through this time in their life more than my husband Pat. He's my world, he's my love, and I just pray to God that we can come here next year together and do this the right way this time around, so he can get up and play for you too. So please, if you know of a caregiver or you have a caregiver, somebody that loves you, that's been taking care of you, please love them, hug them, tell them how much you love them every chance you get, and please remind them that it's okay to just talk, it's okay to vent, it's okay to cry. Just please be there for these people too. They're good people. Thank you.
I just have one thing to say. She is, and I just found this out 100%, she is one of the strongest people I've ever met in my whole entire life, and I mean that from my heart, please. Thank you.
He's always going to have the last word.
Thank you very much, Ruth and Pat. Like I said, this was something new. We needed to honor our caregivers just because it does affect everybody. And we needed to have an idea of what we all go through, what the whole family goes through. So that's why we did this tonight. I would now like to introduce Christine Coots, who's our luminary chair.